Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing all right. I was working on a knife and it had a gut hook. and yeah, gut hooks. Anyway, I'm glad y'all could join me. Welcome, new subscribers. Welcome, old subscribers. Just welcome. I really appreciate y'all following me along on this journey. And it's really getting interesting now because it's getting into the things that I love about knife making is being creative and being able to use your imagination to create. And what we're getting ready to do is we finished our handle holes and our thong hole and our thumb jibbing. But to make these knives just a little bit more special, I've decided to put a pattern that requires hand filing in the top of the blade. And how I'm going to do this is with a series of files. So I'll be filing and cutting and things of that nature on different angles and degrees and whatnot. Different types of files, triangle files, flat files, round files. This video will probably, go a little long, but in order for me to show you this process, it's just something that takes time. But I will pause it whenever I can. I will show you the different steps and what it takes to put a vine pattern. That's the pattern we're going to put in these knives. Is a nice sweeping vine. I think it's really elegant. It's really clean. And it will show, it just shows the knife maker's care and effort and ability. And I think everybody that gets one of these knives is deserving of that. So I'm going to give you my best. So what I did is I took a magic marker after I put red Dykem on the top of that blade, and that's what this is. It's just a layout die. This happens to be red. And what I did is let that dry, and then I took a flexible ruler and a magic marker, and I have lines on this ruler that my wife so graciously let me have. It has 1/32 marks, 1/16 marks, so on and so forth, eighth, half, quarters. And I have a specific distance that I lay this pattern out on. And the reason I use a flexible ruler is because it follows the contour of the blade, okay? And I determined over many patterns of filing that I have a certain space I want to follow to create the pattern that I'm going to make. So I just went ahead and laid that out and marked my lines on here according to the amount of space that I want to have between the turns. And I went ahead and laid out all these lines. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 marks on this blade, evenly spaced. So once I get that laid out and I determine where I want to start, the first thing I want to do is I want to put a mark on every other line on this side of the blade. What that's going to do is it's going to set this side of the pattern. Then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'll take a triangle file, just enough to make a line, scribe a line on the blade, holding it at about a 35 to 45 degree angle. And I want to start on this side, so I'll put it on that mark, and I'll just cut me a mark in there, like so. And this is how I do it. Some other knife makers, or if you want to call them artists or smiths, however you want to call it, they may do it a little bit different. This is just how I do it. And I'll go and skip a line, and I'll do the same thing here. Cut me a notch in there. It's just a notch. Just give me something to go by, a guide. And I'll do that all the way down, skipping every other one. Just like so. And the last one. Okay, now I can see where my layoff is. Now I'll flip the blade over. As you can see, I'll flip the blade over on this side. Making sure y'all can see it. And you can't, so I'll move you. Like so. Okay. And we'll do it again. Take a triangle file. Now I've got a mark on this side, so I want to skip that and come down to the next one. And I will mark it with this triangle file on that angle, like so. It's about a 45. Skip one, mark it. It's like so. Skip one, mark it, like so. Skip one, and mark it. Okay, now every other mark on the opposite sides has a layoff groove in it cut with this file, just like this. So now, once I determined that, I pretty much don't have to worry about my magic marker anymore. These notches will determine what I'm going to do from now on. So what those notches do is they hold the next file from moving around with me. What I'm going to do is take a round file and I'm going to file in to the halfway point on the blade, just halfway. Wherever there's a file mark, that's where I'll be doing it. So let me grab my round file. And you can use 3/16, 7/32, just whatever file that you want to use. And since I'm going to be doing a sweeping bind pattern, I'm going to use a 7/32 chainsaw file. And see, you'll feel that fall in that groove, okay? And you just want to just take your time, start it, just like so. And you can feel it cutting. And you just take that file and look down on top, and you can see about the halfway point. A little bit more. And a little bit more. Okay, that's about halfway. So you go to your next one, do the same thing. Oh, see it skate? But that's okay, it's going to get cleaned up. So that means I need to slow down until I get the file started. Now I can put a little pressure on it. Remember, we're only going halfway over. Okay, a little bit more. And that's about it right there. Move on down. Roll the file a little. they get clogged up, so you got to keep them cleaned. And remember, as you go down, this blade tapers, okay, to a point. So halfway is not as far as it was back here. Halfway here is just very minimal filing. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. Okay, move on down. A little bit more. And there we have one side. And make sure that I can see it, you can see it. Yes, you can. So now I'm going to flip the knife over. Lock it in on this side. Make sure you have plenty of room and the knife's fairly level. It will help you in the long run. Keep everything nice and square. Let me move you again. Get you over here. There it is. I want you right there where you can see it. Okay. Now we'll do these grooves. It just takes time. Let's start on the tip this time. Check for center. And we are very close. So we'll give it a couple swipes and that'll be it. And we'll move back to the next one. Keep that file turning. And it saves the life of your file and it makes the filing a lot easier. This particular chainsaw bar is an Oregon. This is the #1 knife, so I wanted to go with an Oregon because it was made in Canada. And I thought this was appropriate since we have so many Canadian friends and brothers and sisters that I thought it would be kind of cool to make #1 out of a Canadian bar. And it's good old steel. Very good tool steel. Move on back to the next one. Like so. Check for center. And we're not quite there yet. And that's about it. So we'll move back to the next one. Like so. And we'll check for center. A couple more swipes. Remember, you can change this angle and get the center quicker, but you also are going to lose your depth. So you need to keep that angle pretty much on a 45. You can go shallower and get quicker if you don't want your pattern so deep into the blade, but I like a nice deep pattern, so we'll stick with what we're doing. I'll come right here on the last one. Start your file. And let it go. What's nice about these filing jobs, these file patterns, is there's so many out there. I can do an Aztec pattern. I can do so many different ones. It's just amazing what you can do with a file and a little bit of know-how. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't like this one, so I'm going to reach over and make it just a little deeper. Like so. I like it. So there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 file marks. Now, what I want to do now, since I've got a little space, a lot of space actually, from this to this, so on and so forth, is I want to close this space up a little bit. And I want the turns to be a lot more elegant. The line, I can do it like this, but the lines would be really radical. What we want is a nice flowing vine, like a snake stretched out on the ground with coils. So I will get me a half round file, and I will run a half round file over these in the same locations and just widen up that valley in there. So let me get one and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Then you have to pick the right one. If you get one too big, you open it up too wide, and then you're running out of real estate. So, and then we don't want to do that. You can always go with a bigger round file, which I have done in the past. And sometimes a bigger round file will create the valley that you're looking for. So I'm going to pause you for just a second, and I'm going to bring you back with the right file.